It's empty.
Empty.
Oh, there's one passenger at the back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
I told you I was gonna be quick.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe just 1
Where
hour.
have I heard that line before? It's from a movie.
Yeah.
I think it's Ghostbusters.
You're almost empty, George. Empty.
No, I'm pretty full. No.
No, the bus.
Oh, the bus. Okay.
I'm good for right now, but the next time you come back in Shaughnessy, can I go to the washroom?
Oh, okay, sure.
5:30 is it? Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I just don't want to make you late, so.
Well, it doesn't matter. I left right here when I left an hour ago, and I'm right on time now.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm early. Well, not early, but I'm on time. 2 minutes before I need to leave. Yeah, Ghostbusters. That's where I heard that. We're back. Was that the second movie?
Something like that.
They filmed that last Ghostbusters movie. I think it was ladies in that movie, and they filmed part of that in the old Greyhound station.
I got on 7761 today on 11. You
Oh.
never get the 7760s at
No.
all.
No, I don't.
You've driven 68 though.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm surprised you haven't driven 61.
Yeah.
You probably have, but that was like when it was brand new.
Yeah, that's right.
Your days go by so fast. You got a 77, you got Jimmy's, you got MCI's.
Yeah.
You
Pretty
got,
much everything.
yeah.
Much things to remember.
You also taken me on 7961 before.
That's right.
You just had that bus, I think, recently.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did. Not too long ago.
A couple weeks ago, last week sometime,
Last week sometime.
or the week before.
Yeah, that's right. Hi. Good thing.
That was on a day I wasn't out.
Right. Boy, is it ever quiet. It's like a ghost town around here.
Yeah.
Wow. There is nobody. Hopefully, within the next 7 or 8 months, everything will be back to normal. I hope. I don't know. I was reading an article on the internet before I left the house about how companies are stripping the rainforest in Brazil and Africa. And it's not good. They're driving out animals that have all kinds of diseases, and these animals are passing them on to humans. And we're going to have quite a number of these viruses in the future, down the road. That's what it was saying, but this isn't the end, it's only the beginning. That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Well, we can't afford to have another virus like this because it would shut everything except grocery stores and gas stations would be gone.
Yeah.
All restaurants and sports bars and movie theaters, they can't afford to have this again. They'd be history. I hope we don't get another one like that. What is it? That COVID-19 variant from England? That's spreading too much. Did you hear about that one even?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that one is called B112.
That's not good.
B112. Starts COVID.
They say a lot of people have committed suicide because they can't cope with the quarantine, right? Did you hear about that?
No, they don't mention it in the news, but you're absolutely right. That's a
not seeing their friends, right?
That's right. Not seeing their friends, and the fact that they think of the future and how they may not get a job, just everything combined. It's a terrible thing. Depression is really bad. That's so sad.
I would never do that, eh? I'm a fighter.
Well, that's why I want to, that's one of the main reasons why I buy lottery tickets, hoping to win big someday, which I'm going to do, and then help people out. Just help people, period. Doesn't matter who they are or what's going wrong, you don't have to ask. Everybody needs help. That's what Elvis did. He would just help people. It was so cool. Put a big smile on their face.
Don't know when things get back to normal, but my attitude is this: we're one day closer. Right?
Yeah,
that's my attitude.
Yeah, that's right.
It has to be.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta think positive. Still gotta live in the real world, but you also gotta think positive.
Like you, I get on your bus every day.
Yeah.
Or almost.
Well, that's why I'm gonna win the lottery again, because I think positive. I know I'm gonna do it. I already know it. Just has to happen.
And you've been awful close sometimes.
Oh yeah. 3 times I had 5 numbers on the Western. Had I had one more number, it would have been $1 million.
Imagine if you won all 5.
I did. I had 5 numbers before, but it only pays $500. And if you get one more number, you get $1 million. It goes from 500 to $1 million. Can you believe that?
You could do a lot with that.
Yeah. Somewhat. There's so many people I have to help out. So many.
Especially Cliff.
Yeah, Cliff. And then there's, yeah, so many people. Oh, man. The list just goes on and on and on. That's why I need so much money. That's why I buy a ticket on that, not tomorrow night, I don't think I will, but on that Lotto Max. After tomorrow night, if it's carried over, then I might get 3 tickets for Friday. I'll see, on the Lotto Max. Because that's, if it's not won tomorrow night, it'll go to 32 million. That's what it needs, a big one, so you can invest the money.
Cliff must be stressed out a lot of the time, right?
Not really stressed out, just not too happy. A little bit of depression, I think. Not too happy that he's in the basement and he feels he's quite a ways from the nearest store.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out when I have a chance. And I'm going to walk with him down to the store. I don't think he's going the right way. He's taking too long to get there. He said it takes an hour each way. And I don't think it's quite that.
He must be going the wrong way.
I think he is. Not so much the wrong way, but the way he's going is a longer way than what you can...
Detour.
Oh, yeah.
You make him pretty happy though.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that's
we have a lot of fun, yeah. Lots of fun. We watch movies and watch hockey and watch football. We like a lot of the same things. The only thing we're different is he likes to get up early in the morning.
You know what though? When I'm around too, like me and him and you go out, that makes him feel
Oh, yeah.
good, like when I see him on the bus.
That's right. Yeah, we're gonna have fun.
We should go out to Tuscany someday.
Go what?
Out to the Tuscany. You've been wanting to do that. You know the Tuscany you've been telling
Oh,
me?
Tuscany, yeah. Yeah, I've never been out at I've been to the Tuscany station, but I've never been out walking in Tuscany or to a store or anything like that.
Imagine when we do it, imagine if still a few of the U2 cars are still going. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah. We'll just have to make sure we don't go on a day that there's a football game. Way too many people.
Or a Flames game if they get back and do that one.
That's right. There we are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trains are so unbelievably busy
Oh, you're cutting out.
on the on sports days.
What's your name? What's that? Oh, here,
George,
Yeah.
let's not do it during Stampede either.
No, that's right. I don't know what this stampede's gonna look like.
They're gonna have to use every train that they have though.
They will.
The Mewtwo cars won't be able to rest.
That's right.
And they have to run them poor old 80s trains for like what? 10 hours sometimes?
Yeah, something like that.
And if they break, right? They have to use them.
Yeah. That's right.
You think if they keep them around for another 3 years, that's pushing it a little too much?
Which ones?
The U2s, if you keep them around till 2024?
Well, it's already too long now. Way too long.
Yeah.
So, they can keep pushing it. You can keep pushing the break to the end whenever that is.
Yeah.
But it's not a good idea. They've already outlasted their time already. My goodness.
But hey, when you get something built from Germany, you can push it to over 40 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Man, they were good, eh?
Yeah.
They still are good. Like when the new train broke down in October that one day, got on one, just operated like it was brand new. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of them could be in worse shape, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's just really sad that pretty much every city in North America does not have the money to buy new buses, to buy new seaplanes, or do anything.
So they're having to keep the German U2s around.
Yeah, every city, Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, they're all in the same boat.
That's why you kept the Jimmies for longer, right?
That's right, yeah. That's right.
You couldn't run them now.
No. Down in the States, it's the same thing. Chicago, Philadelphia, New York.
They still have the old Detroits down there, eh? The mid-90s buses.
Yeah.
How old would they be now? 26 years this
at
year?
least,
The
yeah.
95, so some of our 75s would be 25 to 27 years old.
That's right, yeah. That's
Could-
good. What's that?
Could you run them now? I think 30 years would be pushing it on the 75.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
They didn't retire till 2018, the last two.
That's right.
They pushed it with them.
Yeah. They really did.
That's like what, 23 years of service?
Yeah. Well, Cliff told me that they're still running, just in some parts of Vancouver, they're still running the province. Oh,
They're like ancient.
they really are. We painted ours out right around 1967. Boy, that
Because you had the Jimmies coming in.
Yeah.
They weren't noisy when they were brand new.
Oh no, they weren't at all.
20 years you started to notice they were noisy.
Yeah, that's right.
I was gonna ask you this. I don't know if I did. How many 1100 series did you guys have?
Let's see. Not a lot, but we must have had about.
At least 60 of
That's
them.
right. That's exactly right. That's what I was gonna say. Around 60.
Not as many of these. Like I think there's 977, something like that.
That's right. In fact, I think that's where they ended at 1160 or 1161.
Not 1175 or anything.
No, they didn't go that high.
You think they would have? They did with the 900s.
That's right.
They go all the way up to 1090 in the one and 1000.
Yeah, that's right.
I think the 75 certainly outstate their Wacom after their last couple years.
Yeah.
In fact, I know the buses that were the last two in service.
Oh, okay.
75, 79, 75, 58.
Right.
And then the third last retired before the last two buses, like I mentioned there, was 75, 55.
Yeah, that's right.
You've driven that one.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much all the 7500.
None of them were a dandy.
Oh, that's right.
You have one that was just okay, right?
That's
like,
right.
would not give you problems all day.
That's right.
Did you just drive it because you had to, right? That's
Yep.
the bus they gave you.
That's right. Exactly.
But if the driver's not there and you would rather take the other bus, you've had that happen a couple times?
Yeah, I have, yes.
Early in your career, did you get a few 78s? Like a few that are out of AG now, they're not being used.
Not 78. Not early in my career.
No, like I mean like 20 years in.
Well, whenever the 78s came in.
They came in 02, some of them.
Oh, okay, 02. Just give me a second.
02, 03, 04, and then they had 05 one.
Right. To be quite honest with you, the 7800s, what they did, they put them across the city when they were new.
Just like the Detroits, right? The 76s, right?
Right. Yeah, now the 75s and 76s, I got to drive them too. Not the 78s. You didn't get the 78s till they were older already.
10 years.
Yeah, that's right.
They were still nice to drive at 10 years old, I imagine.
Oh yeah, they were okay.
When did you get your 79s? Was it a bit different with them? Did
Oh
they
yeah. No, the 79s, my goodness. I was driving them back in the, I think it was the late 90s. Mid to late 90s. I was getting some nice ones back then.
79s? They're only 2005.
Oh, are they? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's when I was getting them then.
You remember when they were brand new? Didn't you tell me a story? You went down to the garage to get your bus?
Oh no, that was 975.
Yeah, I was gonna say these are all 2005. They were not even built yet,
Right.
these.
No, I guess I had the year wrong. No, anyhow, when these came out, it was, I didn't get to drive them brand new, the 7900.
But you remember going down to get your bus at the garage and seeing one brand new.
No, not brand new. That was a Jimmy. And it wasn't brand new. It had been refurbished. Like, they had not even refurbished. They'd just done some work on it.
Oh, that was the one.
Yeah. they did some work on the
Brand new smell still though, right? That's what it felt.
Not really, no. 975, when I went down to get that, that would have been late 90s, I think. Yeah, late 90s, 97, 98.
How was the trance in that one?
That was really good. Really good. That particular bus, they've done some work to the motor and maybe the transmission, and they tightened all the screws in the mirrors. They did everything. And while it was an older bus, it was still in really good shape when they did that. 975, gosh, that would have been brand new in
Mid-70s, early 80s.
Yeah, that's right. And I didn't get it until the late 90s.
It's probably scrapped now.
It is, I believe. I think I actually saw it up in Spring Garden, way in the back somewhere.
Was this when you went to get your badge?
I can't remember, no.
Recent.
It wasn't. I was returning a bus to the garage, and I had some time. And I wanted to go look for a particular bus that I did find. And while I was way in the back, there was nobody around. It was okay, I was allowed to be there. But while I was back there looking for that particular bus, I should tell you that story. I found 975 and it was just being used for parts. I can't remember how long ago that was now.
Were you sad to see it being used for parts?
I'm not really sad, a little surprised,
But I mean, you gotta remember, that thing was 30 years old.
that's right, yeah.
30, 35 years, you're looking at what? 2 million kilometers on these
Yeah,
gyms.
that's right. But the reason I was there, that particular afternoon, there was a guy, as the story goes, they told us in training, he was in Saskatchewan, and what he did, he should never have done this, he drove all night to get back to Calgary, and he didn't get no sleep at all. And so he drove from Saskatchewan back to Calgary, parked at Spring Gardens, and went in and got his bus to go to work. And he was tired and a little groggy, kind of dozing off a little bit. And he was going south on Deerfoot, about 6:30 in the morning. And he was supposed to, for that particular route, he needed to go to the right off Deerfoot and go south on a flat-foot trail. And he missed his turn. So what he did, because he was a little groggy, kind of half asleep from driving all night, he missed his turn. And he cranked the wheel at the last second to try to make that turn. And he hit a piece of concrete like a divider that divides the road, where you either go right or you go straight. And he was going south on Deerfoot, cranked the wheel, and he was a little too late. And what he did, when he hit that concrete divider, it threw him, and he, he went out of the bus, get this, he was thrown from the seat because he didn't have his seatbelt on, onto the floor, and the bus hit a lamp standard, like this. And I mean, he hit it at like 100K. When he hit it, this spare box came right out. Can you imagine how hard this is bolted? And it came out of the floor, flew through the air, and hit the roof at the back door and landed on the back seat of the bus.
Oh man, the bus must have been totaled.
Oh, it was. It was.
Was it a Jimmy or?
Yes, it was. And the driver's seat was behind me.
Was that 975 that
No, it
went
wasn't.
through?
No, it was another bus. Oh, that doesn't.
Oh, these poor old, wow, that's something.
So anyhow, to finish this, no, it doesn't work. That's nice. I can take that. I can take your ticket. Yeah. Unless you need to hold on to it. Thanks. Thank you.
Wow, that is crazy.
So what happened was when the bus hit the power pole, it was such an impact, he was down on the floor and he got thrown and he was all busted to pieces and he was bleeding really bad and the bus was totaled. Like I say, the power pole came through the windshield, took the whole front of the bus here and put it back behind me where this jump seat is behind me. That's where everything was. The seat, the steering wheel, everything was back there. So when the paramedics got to him, they told us in training that they thought he was dead because I believe we hold, I think it's 25 liters of blood in a human being, and they said he'd already lost about 14 liters or something. They couldn't believe he lived, the paramedics. They saved his life. He lost part of his leg. He walked with a limp. He never drove again. He walked with a limp the rest of his life, but he lived. Through that, he actually lived.
I wonder why he wouldn't. I wonder why he went to work then. Why wouldn't he just phone transit and
Well,
say I'm
that was
not?
the mistake he made. You can't do something like that. You know, he's that tired and come to work. That's the wrong thing to do, but people do it all the time.
And transit would understand.
Yeah, they would.
Transit would get another driver to fill him. For example, if you're going back to the garage, they would ask you to work overtime.
Well, that's the right thing to do, but you have to understand, people drive when they don't have enough sleep all the time.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And that's what they say, that's worse than driving drunk, which I believe it is. If you fall asleep at the wheel, holy smokes. I've heard of that quite a number of times over the years.
Like I went to school a couple times when I was really not feeling good. I had to go home, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Well, that's how that...
And like I find when you go to school, when you're feeling bad enough, I started to feel worse because I was trying to work.
Right.
I had to go home for the day and go just taking off.
Well, truckers do this all the time. They try to cheat on their logbooks, but they also pop pills to try to stay awake. And they drive way too long when they shouldn't be doing that.
Like you drive at like a 19-20 hour trip.
Exactly, that's, yeah.
Drive for 10 hours, then go to sleep for 8. You know, at the truck stop,
Yeah.
they have a shower. You can just park the truck there for the night.
Well, that's how Tracy Morgan's friend was killed. Tracy Morgan is a stand-up comedian and an actor. And him and his friend had left, I believe it was it LA? Or Las Vegas. It was Las Vegas, in a limo. And they were out on the highway outside of Las Vegas. And everything was fine. And this, a truck driver for Walmart, he fell asleep at the wheel. He had been driving way too. He was driving for like 2 days straight without sleep. And he fell asleep at the wheel of his Semi. And he hit the limo that Tracy Morgan and his friends were in. And he killed Tracy Morgan's friend. And Tracy Morgan was, I think he was 6 weeks in the hospital unconscious. That's what can happen, eh?
You hit something and that's it when you're driving.
Yeah. So of course, the lawyers get involved in everything. And I finally found out what he got out of the lawsuit. You know, between him and his lawyer, they got $100 million.
Holy.
Yeah. Well, it was
$100 million.
Yeah, well, he was driving for Walmart, right?
Whoa.
Yeah. So now you got a major company here. And they didn't need this kind of news making, like, they didn't need this kind of story on the news.
hurts a company, right?
A little bit. Walmart is so big that they almost wouldn't even.
No, but I mean, imagine if it was just a regular truckers company. Then they gotta come up with new training protocols.
Well, I believe they did actually in this case too. But yeah, it wasn't. The whole thing was very ugly. It was very sad. Well, you know what Tracy Morgan did? Like, eventually he was, I don't know if you'd say okay, he still has nightmares with it, and he's still traumatized, even today, but he's better than what he was. He's gone through a lot of therapy. So anyhow, he took his money, this was about 8 or 9 months ago, some of his money, and he bought this car. Even I could not believe how much this car was worth. I'd never heard of this before. We paid, I think it was $5 million. Brand new, there were $12 million for this car. I never heard of this before. It's some kind of special car. So he paid like $5 million, right? So he took the car and he got in, and all the paperwork finally was done and everything, and he went down to get his car. And he couldn't have been driving more than 20 minutes when another car hit him. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. Because some guy driving a Honda hit his car, and it was about 5 or 6 million used. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I know, that's funny.
5 or 6 million?
Yes, and that's used. I had no idea that there was such a car around. I really didn't. That's crazy. It was, well, about brand new, they're worth about 10 or 12 million. I don't know what's in it. I have no idea. All I know is it's a very expensive car, and he had the money and he bought a used one.
But you
20
get-
minutes after he bought it, he got hit.
But you get a lot of kilometers off of it. But I wouldn't want to pay $5 million bucks.
I remember when he phoned the police, I was reading this article about this, and when he phoned the police, he told them, he said, look, somebody hit my car, blah, blah, blah. He explained the accident, and then he said, I'm Tracy Morgan. I am the actor, he said. And he said, people are starting to gather to look at me. He said, there's a big crowd. Can you get the police down there now? Oh, that's funny.
That was a scary bus story you told me.
That's really sad.
Is he long gone now?
Oh yeah, no, you could never come back.
No, but I mean, is he still around or?
No, I have no idea. They told us that story in training in 1981, August of 81.
When you trained out, right?
When I was in training,
Yes.
they told me that story.
Yeah. When did you train out? Like when were you finished again?
The end of August 81.
Yeah.
So that particular incident happened around 1978. I even saw pictures from the accident.
The LRT-U2 cars were only, what, a few months old, right?
No, they didn't have any in. When I trained out, yeah, but when that guy had that accident, there wasn't any.
They were just being built fresh.
Yeah, that's
Or they were ready to go, but you had to ship them out.
That's right. But anyhow, yeah, they were just a few months old when I started training, when I trained out.
How many rush hour buses did you have back then? Since there was no train, it must have been enough.
Oh yeah, it was actually quite a bit. You want to use the front door? Sure. Yeah, that'll be better. There we are, dear. Oh, you're very welcome. You take care. Bye-bye.
Lot of express routes back
Well,
then.
there were. I had to do express routes for the Flames games, the Calgary Stampeders. I was all over the city doing express routes.
How loaded were you? You were loaded, eh?
Oh yeah. No, when there was a Flames game, yeah, you were
Yeah,
loaded.
Stampeders game as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the Flames game was the worst, right?
That's right.
How many people did you have during a Flames
I
game?
know you'd have a good seated load, probably
No, you're pushing it once you get that.
That's right.
Did I?
When I went to the Stampeders game, when I did the express bus, I actually got to go in for free and watch part of the game. We just had to be out to our bus 15 minutes early, 20 minutes early before the game was over.
That was nice. How did transit make that happen for you guys?
I think it was just our uniform. They allowed us to go in and find an empty seat and watch the game for a little bit. I remember doing that once.
Thanks, George.
Yeah, you take care.
You have a happy
And the same to you. Thank you so much.
How long would you get to watch it?
Let's see. Probably out of it's usually a 3-hour football game. So I would usually get about not quite 2.5 hours.
Hour and a half?
A little more than that, just over 2 hours.
That's awesome.
That is, yeah. I only remember, I think I did several charters, 2 or 3 charters to the Stampeders game.
You had a Jimmy that day?
Yeah, that's right.
That's all you guys had.
Thank
Yeah.
you, guys.
Oh,
Good luck.
oh, hi.
Hi.
No, you're very welcome.
Thank you. Good
Okay,
luck.
you take care.
You too.
Good luck to you. The Calgary Flames, now that was a totally different thing. I did remember once doing a charter, and when I got to the Saddle Dome, I remember once I went up and whoa.
There.
And I was able to extend and watch the game just for a few minutes.
See that, George? They went across.
I know, they did. They blend in, see the dark color, they blend in with the dirt.
That's the scary thing, right?
Yeah. But that's, it's not a mechanism, but it's a thing that they use to their advantage in the winter when they stand in the woods. It's almost, camouflage. It's almost impossible to see them.
So, after you got to the Saddle Dome, did you have to do another run and go back?
Yes, what we would have to do, actually you're right. I think we did one more run down, but basically what we did, we sat there and took the people back home, right, before the sea trade. There was no sea trade to the northeast. That's where I was running on it. And there was no sea trade to the football game either. That's why I was doing all these charters. That's when there was no charters, not expression charters.
They were kind of like Flames Game Express if you were...
Exactly.
But what number would you give that one? Just something random, the route?
No, we all had numbers. But you know, one time, I was doing a Flames charter. I was up in the northeast. They had enough buses. So they said, just park, and if we need you, we'll get back to you. So I sat there, and I had to be sitting 45 minutes at least. And I told him, I said, "Nicole, you still need me?" He said, "Oh, we forgot about you. You can come back to the garage." That's funny.
Wow.
Yeah. As it turned out,
So when... Yeah, wow.
yeah, they forgot to tell me. He told me I could come back to the garage. That was funny.
So I wanted to ask you, where did you park your buses at the stadium?
At the Saddle Dome?
No, at the stadium for the Stampeders game.
They had a section that was blocked off for large buses.
Calgary Transit only,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. And we would pull in there.
You don't have that anymore, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, the train runs everywhere.
Wow, so you had it all over your years.
I have what?
You have had it all over your career. All different routes and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. My goodness. Oh, when I first started, wow, I was all over the city.
Including the charters.
Yeah, that's right.
So, you've driven an MCI on the charters a couple times or no?
No.
No, you didn't get them until the 90s.
That's right.
Some of them.
I had enough seniority. I didn't do charter. I was signing all the time back then. Those MCIs were really nice when they first came in.
Was the first bus that came in 5,000? 5,000 or 5,001?
Those were Flyers. And they were truck.
No, but I mean you had 5,100 and 5.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, the MCI.
5001, right? Or 50.
Yeah, but
00.
The 5,000 and 5001. We went up to 5107.
You've had enough of them, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's right. But there was this Flyer I used to drive way before I got to MCI. Well, it wasn't 5,000. It was a 500 one, 501, 502. Boy, were those things garbage.
They had Detroit's in them.
They had what?
Detroit's in them, I believe.
I think so. Thank you. You're welcome. All I know is they were really bad. The headlights were square, and the headlights.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the headlights were just above the bumper. Literally, like 2 inches above the bumper. It was really weird. You had no ventilation on those. The only ventilation was a tiny little square that you could try and open way up near the roof above the driver. I remember a girl calling in and a really hot day in the summer. It was like 27 Celsius. And she said she had to have a change out. She was going to faint because there was no ventilation.
It was like in the U2 cars, no air conditioning.
That's right. Yeah, those things were tough.
Did I tell you when I was young I overheated so much that I threw up? Did I tell you about that?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it.
Yes. That's what I do if I get too hot.
Wow.
That's normal though, your body tells you.
That's right.
Your body's an engine just like these buses.
Yeah, that's right.
Was she driving a Flyer, you said, right?
Yeah, that's right.
They weren't new Flyers like these.
No, these ones I'm talking about, those 500 series.
I see what you mean. They're like through the 400s and stuff.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, they were old, really old.
They were kind of had the similar look like the MCIs, right? If I'm wrong.
That's right.
Similar square body like the MCI Classics.
Yeah,
And they were blue, right?
yeah.
Two-tone blue like some of our Jimmies.
Yeah, that's right.
What if they gave you that one tomorrow? You wouldn't be happy.
Oh, I should say. Man, those things, they were square. They were a Flyer, but they were square. They were really old. I don't even know when they got them in.
I know they were 1960s, 70s.
That's right.
We had a couple from 79, I know.
Okay. They were very square. And you felt like you were in a cardboard box.
They were like the MCI style.
Yeah, that's right.
If you had to drive one, would you take a 7500 over a Flyer?
Over those 500.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you didn't like the 75s, but they had a lot more technology in them than the Flyers did.
That's right.
The 500 series Flyers. Now I wanted to ask you, since they were Flyer, I don't think they were built in Winnipeg.
Yeah, actually they were.
Yeah, I was gonna say, were they built at New Flyer Industries though, or was?
That's right. Yeah.
Why wouldn't they just call them a new? Wow, that's weird.
Oh, I know.
Like they built at New Flyer Industries. Why wouldn't they just call them 1970 New Flyer?
Yeah.
So they were built at Flyer Industries,
Yes,
New
they were.
Flyer.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's probably New Flyer Industries was probably brand new back then.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, would have been. Yeah.
I knew they were built in Winnipeg, but when you told me Flyer, and I'm like, they're not a New Flyer though, so I just thought I would ask you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, New Flyer builds every type of bus almost.
That's right.
You know what? They're gonna have not so good ones sometimes, eh? It's just the way they build it.
Well, that's right. Technology advances.
You know what? They gotta experiment, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Unless, you know what? Do you think they could get parts for the MCIs if they wanted to? New Flyer Industries to replace motor coats? They could do both?
I think so.
Like make custom parts for them?
Yeah.
So then they would have to be called New Flyer Motor Coach Industries.
Yeah. I remember the signal arm, it was on the steering column, and it would break off. Literally, it was so thin.
That's when you know you had a junk bus.
Oh, I tell you, those things. And the seat was so hard, and you couldn't raise it hardly at all. You were almost always sitting on the floor. And with all this thing, and the hard seat, really.
I'm sure the Orions had Detroits. I'm not sure. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe they did, the Orions.
Right.
Because I know a lot of Orions nowadays do, especially the older ones.
Yeah.
You said the Orions weren't very good.
Oh no. And you know what they did on the Orions? Something really stupid. They built these buses, and they all look exactly the same, literally, but when they put the transmission in, I don't know why they did this, but it was a stick shift, 3-speed automatic. Now, it had, you could shift into reverse or first, second, third. So when they installed the transmission, I don't know how they did this, but on some of the Orions, you would have to shift forward to put it into drive, but on other Orions, if you shifted forward, that was going into reverse.
Jeez, that's a mess.
Oh, that's crazy because you got exactly the same bus. So in other words, for a driver, what happens is he gets used to shoving it into drive to go forward, and then all of a sudden you get another Orion. Now it's exactly the same. You get in, you're not.
You do the exact same thing, push her forward, but instead of going in drive, you're in reverse.
Going in reverse, exactly. And of course, subconsciously, when you're driving a vehicle, it's usually the same vehicle all the time. You get in, everything's the same. So the mind works that way. You put it in drive, and most vehicles you put it in, you push it forward to go into drive. That makes sense.
That's what I like about these new Flyers. They're so simple, especially the 77, 78, 7900s.
Yeah.
They're so simple.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Same thing with the 8000s.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, wasn't that a mess, eh?
Oh, man.
It's like some of the old cars. Do you remember on some of the really old 50 cars? To get the car to start, you would have to put your foot down on the brake and then pull something to start the vehicle. They had a pulling system or whatever. Or you had to push a button.
Yeah, you're right.
Like not new remote start, really old technology.
That's right. But you're right, yeah.
That's what I can relate to.
Yeah, that's it.
So on some of the Orions, what gear did you have to put it in to drive? If it wouldn't let you go forward, it would go in reverse. What did you have to do?
What you would have to do, if you were shifting into reverse, on some of them you had to go push it forward. So in other words, to go into drive, you had to pull it back.
So backwards.
Yeah?
That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. I don't know. But to build exactly the same vehicle both ways, that used to create problems. Instead of what you're thinking you're going into drive, now it's in reverse, you could hit somebody behind you.
I was thinking it's 5 o'clock because I'm so used to you pulling in at 5 o'clock, George.
Yeah, right.
It's 5:30. I gotta remember that.
I know, that is weird.
And I'm thinking, oh, it's 5 o'clock now. George is back.
Yeah, that's right.
And like you knew Jerry was on vacation, but you don't know if he's driving or not.
Well, actually, he may not have been on vacation. I might have made a mistake here. I thought he was on the 11 and I didn't see him, so I assumed he was on vacation.
But you're like,
he's on the 12, so he's ahead of me.
yeah.
So I don't think he might not have been on vacation.
Last week he wasn't though. I got a different, there was a different driver. He might.
On the 12?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so he was on vacation then.
Maybe, yeah, that's all I can
I
think.
forgot that he's taking the Route 12 Key 142. I forgot about that.
The one you had.
Yeah, that's right.
Isn't it weird? You gotta get used to a sign up, but you're on the same route.
But yeah, that's right. That is.
But you get to get home earlier. You only got a couple hours.
That's right.
By the time you get to Shaughnessy, you'll have 2 hours left.
Right. That's right.
Do you mind opening the washroom real quick? We'll go to Shaughnessy,
No, not at all.
and then we'll hit her, eh? I'll be as quick as I can. I don't want to make you late.
Yeah.
There's no one around barely anymore, so...
No, that's right.
Some of the trains would be going out of service now.
That's right.
Where's Walden Legacy? Are they still running that one?
Yeah, I believe they are.
Maybe it's just not here right now.
Isn't that the 167, 168?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think they're still running.
They might have to again, keep it on next week.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
Because the community's out there, people are buying the bus pass, they have to buy the service.
That's their only line.
That's right.
How much is the bus pass now, George?
How much is what?
The bus pass now, monthly.
I don't know.
It must be $110 or something.
Something like that. I know it's not 700. No.
No.
Oh, that's funny.
And you know what? That makes sense that they keep it on for morning and AM and PM rush, because 444 only runs from 1:30 to 7 something.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not an all-day bus, and it's shuttle, so...
You know, in Vancouver, if you want a bus pass that goes...
There it is.
What?
167.
Oh, yeah. If you want a bus pass in Vancouver that goes through all three zones. It's over 400 a month. Can you believe that?
I would just rather pay $300 less.
Yeah, that's right. If you only want one zone, it's only like 140.
What do you mean by zones? Like different zones of the city?
Not of the city, no.
Different areas, though. I know that.
Different areas of Greater Vancouver. In other words, let's say you wanted to go out to Port Coquitlam, way out. That's outside of downtown Vancouver. Surrey, Port Coquitlam, Burnaby, New Westminster, even White Rock. White Rock is way out there. You can actually see the United States from White Rock.
You know, Vancouver has a couple different transit systems.
That's right.
BC has a lot. They have BC Transit, Vancouver TransLink, West Vancouver Mountain Bus Company.
Yeah, that's right.
No wonder they need so many different transit systems.
Yeah,
Such a big city.
that's right.
They must get a lot of ridership there.
Yeah,
The buses must be packed.
I guess so.
They had Detroit diesels just like us, right? 1994, 95, 96, all through 99.
Yeah,
Toronto had Jimmys too, right?
That's right.
They're operational worldwide, even in the United States. Do you remember in Edmonton, right? The Jimmy trolley bus?
oh, boy. Some people are just so slow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy, right?
Well, when a vehicle is literally more or less stopped on the road.
And you're giving them a thing to go, right?
Yeah, waving at them, yeah.
Probably on their damn cell phone.
Probably.
But anyway, do you remember the Jimmy trolley buses? They have
Oh, yeah, I remember those real well. Yeah.
the Jimmy trolleys had a wire through them, and they didn't have a Detroit. It was an electric motor.
That's right, yeah. I remember them. Real well. Even in Calgary, I remember them in 1964.
How would they make Jimmy style trolleys though?
Well, they had those, they're almost identical to the way the C-Train runs, right?
Yeah, except they're kind of like a GMC Jimmy with a Detroit diesel, except this Jimmy trolley bus runs on electric instead of a Detroit diesel.
Right, that's right.
They're actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
Edmonton had quite a few of them.
yeah.
Edmonton didn't tire their last ones till 2009.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, there comes a time though, right?
That's right.
Like eventually for the 7700s.
Yeah. Those electric buses were cheap to run.
But they're expensive to buy if you buy a whole new breed of bus.
Oh, man, yeah.
But they are cheaper to run once you get them going. Like I hear Edmonton went and bought a whole order of them.
Oh,
Electric New Flyer buses or something.
okay. Yeah, right.
Does New Flyer build electric? I think, yes they did, right? They're in the United States. They have New Flyers there that were electric diesel and stuff.
That's right, yeah.
I wonder where our small shuttle buses were built out of, eh? That would be...
That would be interesting. to
And,
find out.
and you know what? They say, oh, they only keep them for 5 to 7 years. You say, oh, that's not old for a shuttle, but it is.
Yes, that's right.
Could they get 20 years out of the shuttles or no?
Not the shuttles are running right now?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. The reason they can't
Yeah.
is it's too small a motor. They're putting way too many kilometers on these small motors.
But I mean, they still got to get close to 1 million on them.
Yeah,
And
that's
over 5 years, you're pretty close because the shuttles are used 7 days a week after rush hour, and that's all there is on the weekends.
And they're running them all over the cities.
Yeah.
During the day, they may be in the north end of the city.
And then get called to another route.
Well, they come down here for the evening. And then, so they're in the north, they leave the garage, go to the
Spring Gardens, and that's kilometers, right?
Well, yeah,
yeah.
you leave the garage in the morning, go to the north end of the city, drive there for 4 or 5 hours, then you go out of service, drive all the way across the city, drive down here for the evening, and
Drive
then,
till midnight and
yeah,
go back.
and then you have to go back to VP.
And it's like 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and then go back all the way down the top from the VP.
You know some. No, they're out of Spring.
Some are out of VP, aren't they?
No, all our shuttles are SG.
Oh, okay. Well, look, that's even further than Nick then.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And you know some of our 7-year-old shuttles are still in service right now? One I was on, guess how many kilometers it had on
How
it?
many?
It was a Duramax diesel,
Right.
Chevy Arbuck, Spirit of Freedom, 1834. 523,000 plus kilometers on it, and it's 7 years old.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
We're going to wait in there.
Yeah.
Let's-
Or maybe just here. We can walk with them.
Looks like it's going to snow, see?
Oh, don't say it. George, would you ever buy one of them Calgary Transit shuttle buses? You know what? You know, here's what's funny though. They gotta put just as much work on them small shuttles like they do on the big bus, eh? They still gotta maintain them, and every now and again they gotta rebuild the motor.
Yeah.
Well, they keep them shuttles as well maintained as they can, right?
That's right.
You're gonna be empty for the rest of the night, George. Oh, did you have your fried egg sandwich this morning?
No, actually I didn't. I got up a little bit later and I said, no, I don't want one.
I don't know how you can't get sick of that. Maybe you are now. Maybe the curse has broken.
And I'm driving all day without anything to eat at all. I had a can of Coke, that's all. I can't believe that myself. That's amazing.
Do you want like